It's such an important point in the stories we tell is that they're stories. And so my interpretation of any story in my life is different like than your interpretation. Right now, we'll get off this recording later and you'll remember specific things and I'll remember specific things and you're sitting in that chair and I'm sitting in this chair and so we'll have a shared experience, something that is, obviously it's happening, it's real, there's consistencies, but at the same time, we'll tell the story to ourselves later in how we interpret that. And so I think that's an important point too about being mindful. You mentioned about the stories we choose and just being mindful in the moment and maybe reframing, not to deny stories or our past or trauma or whatever it is, but kind of reshaping. Like I think such an important thing is in the now. It's in the present. It's us having this conversation, right? And then more so in the future because the past are stories. And so I think that's an important thing. It's not to deny the past or anything, but I think there's really something to this. And the last thing I'll mention here that got me thinking about this a long time ago before I was diagnosed is this point that I had read, and I've heard it reiterated so many times, and I've shared it a lot on my podcast, is about that when you reflect too much on the past, that can lead to depression. And when you think too much of the future, that can lead to anxiety. And so the key thing is to be present and to be in the now. And so if you have a business or a career or whatever, adulting is hard. But yeah, you have to plan for the future. And yes, you have to look at your financials from in the last quarter or whatever worked, whatever didn't. So it's not to say you can't think of the past and the future, but I think especially for those late diagnosed with ADHD, who are the people that I speak with the most, coaching and in my podcast, it's very important to be careful not to fall down that hole because with ADHD, the most common comorbidities, as I've learned, is about anxiety and depression. And so we don't really want to trigger those so much. So we really have to be careful. But I think the advice is good for anyone.
No, it's a great distinction.